Reynolds Saucy. Go Reynolds. What do you do with this? And I'm pretty sure that this was all mine for basically free because it was a gift card after volunteering. So girl math. Thanks for being here.
I'm Nora, and this is also known as Nora.
Hello, friends. I'm Nora, and you're watching, also known as Nora Knits. I'm coming to you today with a kind of intimidating video, and so I brought my favorite Sugar Courage. And basically, if you've been here before, you know that one of my favorite things to do is go thrifting for yarn. And in doing so, I have built up quite the stash of thrifted yarn. And you guys have expressed interest in wanting to see what I have collected over the year or so that I have been doing this. So I figured now is the time. We're coming into the new year, and I definitely want to just be aware of what is in that little stash I've got going on. It is mostly thrifted yarn, so that's good. But I definitely would like to take the chance today to not only just look through and analyze everything that I have, but also maybe sort of organize some things into potential destash, things that I definitely want to work with in 2024 and things of that nature. So that's kind of what's going to be going on inside of my brain today. But to keep this video at a manageable length, I will simply be going through the yarns that I've thrifted, and when possible, I'll let you know maybe how I found it or how much it was. And I would love it if I could also figure out some sort of a running tally of my savings by thrifting these yarns instead of buying them new. So if you are excited for this video, then keep on watching and let's just go ahead and dive on in because I think we're going to have a lot. I also want to say that I'm not going in any particular order. I have three, what are these? I have three 66 quart bins that are containing yarn. And it's not all thrifted yarn, but I'm going to just try to pull out the thrifted stuff. So no particular order. Let's go ahead. All right. So if you have been here since episode 1, first of all, thanks for being here. But second of all, you would have seen this. I believe that this is Barocco cotton DK, something like that. I had thrifted a full skein of this. Couldn't tell you the price, but it's a cotton yarn. Next here, I have this. What is this? We just used this. If you watched my Thanksgiving vest sort of saga, then you would have seen this is the Packapeds yarn, in the colorway Harvest, and I had purchased 3 skeins of this for $1 a piece. And now I have 1 skein left. If you've been here for a little bit, you may or may not know about me that I came from a crocheting from being just a crocheter into now knitting as well. And in my crochet days, I definitely worked with cotton a lot more than I have been in my knitting. So I know that there's a good bit of cotton in here. This is one of them. It is a 100% mercerized cotton. It's Reynolds Saucy. Go Reynolds. And it looks like this was about $1. Okay, now this is a raffia paper that I had high hopes for. I really wanted to make the Luca hat, and it utilizes someone's sort of raffia paper. And this was, I think, just too chunky for what that hat had called for. I did get halfway through making that hat and just realized it was way too big. It was a crochet hat, so I put that aside. But I know that I had thrifted, I think 3 balls of this, and I want to say that they may have been $1 a piece when I found them, but it's just a black raffia tape. Next here, I have got 2 balls of this. It is Rowan Silkstones, and it is 52% silk, 48% wool. It is in this white color, and each Each ball of this is 50 grams, so I do have 100 grams here. And I would love to know if you have any recommendations for what I could use this yarn for, because the fiber makeup is really intriguing to me, but with only 100 grams, I wasn't sure what I could make with it. So if you have any suggestions, definitely let me know. But that's Rowan Silkstones. Something that I've noticed in thrifting yarn is that a lot of the yarn that I found is discontinued, or they don't make that colorway anymore. So just keep that in mind too as I'm going through here, that if you see something you like, it might not necessarily be available now, but that's also part of why it was at the thrift store and why I got such a great bargain. Keeping in the same category of those silks, I have this thoroughbred merino silk. And this is 80% merino wool, 20% raw silk. It's in this like pinky color. This was also $1 for the single ball of it, and it is 50 grams on the ball. This is an interesting one. This is Barocco Luxe. It says first in fashion. This is 57% cotton, 30% rayon, 13% nylon, and each of these is 50 grams. Again, I have absolutely no idea what I could use this for. And I want to say that I actually had purchased these together. And a lot of times thrift stores will put multiple yarns inside of like a Ziploc baggie and just sell the baggie for that. So I want to say that this might have been like $2 or something. This is part of why I'm doing this video, is because I don't feel like I have the greatest storage solution for these things. So as I'm going, I'm kind of trying to make a better plan for reorganizing these things. But I just discovered that I actually have 3 balls of that merino silk that I had mentioned. So I actually have 150 grams of this one. I also sometimes will come home and just cake up the yarn to make it a little bit easier to store, although I have stopped doing that recently, since I've heard people saying that it's not good to store the yarn in cakes. But I do, when I cake up my yarn, I will typically do it twice so that the ball isn't super, super tight and compact and it has a little bit room to breathe. But this is a really cute little ball of yarn. What is this? Oh, and when I do cake up the yarn, I will try usually to take the label and just kind of roll it up and stick it on the inside of the hole. So this one literally just says merino on the tag. It says that it's 100% superwash merino. It's also 50 grams. Looks like it was also $1. I wonder, I'm sure that there's another ball in here somewhere. I do try not to purchase single balls of yarn, but sometimes if I feel like it's something I might use later on in color work, or like just a pop of color here and there, or a small accessory maybe, then I will snag it if it's $1. See, I knew I had more of that superwash merino. It's a very cute little ball of it. So this is how it came, and then I caked the other one up. Something else that I found is pretty common for my thrifting finds is that I will find yarns on a cone, and typically they're used for weaving, but kind of before I knew that, I would just snag them because of the sheer quantity of yarn. And this is one that I have way too much of. And it's kind of unfortunate because the color is just so not for me. What I'm about to show you isn't even all of this. This is crazy. So it is really beautiful. Oh, actually, you can see. What a mess. I guess that I had knit up, yes, I had knit up a little bit of a swatch, because when I found this yarn, it was at the time when I was planning to make my all good dress, which called for like a whole bunch of fingering weight yarn. And I thought that this might be a good option, but it doesn't have a label of what the actual fiber is. I believe it's 100% cotton, and it knit up in a really kind of stiff way. I never blocked it, so maybe that would have softened up. But this yarn, I think, would definitely be better suited towards like home accessories and things of that nature. Let me show you just how much of this exact yarn I have. So here's one little bundle. Basically, that all came off of one cone. And I have 3 more. And I don't think I'll use it. I do think that these were each either $1 or 2. I don't know if I got these ones on half off or not, but yeah, I got 4 cones. And it doesn't say what the fiber is. It just says Robison Anton Textile Co. And that it's a 6-ply. And I have the lot number. So if this is up your alley and you would have a use for literally just like boatloads of it, let me know. I'm happy to destash this one. It's just blue isn't my color. Don't like it. Now, on that very same trip, I also found these, which you can't tell, but the last cone that I showed you was slightly, a little more of like a sky blue, where these lean a little bit more of like a baby blue. And I have 3 cones and then just like one little random ball. And these were each either $1 or 2 as well. I think that all of those were actually $2 a piece. So again, something though that I don't think I'm going to use just because this color isn't exactly, it's not my color. It's not my color. So if you really like the color blue and you want any of these cones, let me know. Now, these next 2 yarns I actually found on 2 separate trips to the thrift store, but they are the same yarn. They are the Rico Design Creative Melange. If this one's not chunky, then I don't, it's just regular. And then this one is chunky. These are both a 53% virgin wool and 47% acrylic blend. And you get 50 grams in the ball. So these colors are just, they're very like jewel tone, kind of nice colors. So I thought maybe at some point for an accessory or a little pop of color in something, these might be fun. And it looks like I got each of these for $1. I also have this yarn. This is from Wool and the Gang. And this is a 45% organic cotton and 55% hemp blend. Interesting. It's kind of like a chainette construction. And it's just in this like very simple camel color. So I think this was actually the ball of yarn that I bought when I thought maybe I should stop buying single balls of yarn and wait until I find something that's actually more substantial because I'm primarily a garment knitter. So a single ball, unless I'm going to stripe it or something, but even then, you know, you have to play around with the different yarn weights and just all those things. So I try to avoid snagging single ball unless I know how I'm going to use it or if I know it's going to pair well with another yarn in my stash. But this was $1 and it's a nice color. Maybe there's an accessory or something I can knit with it. And then kind of last in this first bin that I have is this Premier Yarn Chowpaca. And I actually had purchased, I think, 3 of this little 3-pack. And each of the 3 packs were $5. So I do believe that I have actually, now that I say it out loud, I'm pretty sure that I bought 4 of them. But even still, that would be 12 balls of yarn for about $20. And they're really, really super, super soft. They're 80% acrylic and 20% alpaca. And with the quantity that I have, I actually have had just like a hibernating blanket project that is super simple, just garter stitch blanket, but I thought would be nice, especially with the acrylic content in it, something that's washable and just kind of easy to have around. And they are really, really, really soft. So yeah, have a whole bunch of this stuff. Okay, that is the end of the first bin. Let me get all these out of the way and then I will pull out the second one. Okay, so I've got all of that yarn behind me and I just realized that the second bin that I have here is actually mostly just like my old acrylic yarn from when I was doing a lot of crocheting and I would mostly use acrylic fibers, but there are a few thrifted yarns in here. So the first one that I've pulled out is actually a little bit sentimental. This is Patton's Paradise, and it's a 100% cotton yarn. It has a like slubbiness to it, that sort of thick and thin style of yarn. And it's in this very like fleshy pink color. And yeah, I actually bought 10 balls of this at $1 a piece. I think this time last year, and it was the catalyst that got me to finally sit down and teach myself how to knit. And so actually my first sweater is knit out of this yarn. If you want to see that, I will be doing an Everything I Knit in 2023 video, so definitely keep your eyes peeled for that one. But this is it's Patton's Paradiso. It's just 100% cotton. This color is like the least flattering thing for me, but it was $10 for the whole 10 balls of it. And each ball is 100 grams. And a little bit more cotton yarn. I'm sure that you have seen the Lily Sugar and Cream cotton, and these are just 100% cotton, super easy peasy. I know a lot of people use these for like your kitchen stuff, and these are they're 70.9 grams. How specific. And there's just, yeah, a brown and a purple here. I'm certain that there are other colors that have been used or that are just lost at the bottom of this bin right now, but these were apparently $1 a piece. And next up here, we've got a pretty crazy cone. It's still in like the plastic that I bought it in, but this is a chenille yarn. What do you do with this? Like I said, I know that these cones are primarily meant for weaving, but I'm sure that I could knit with this if I really wanted to. I guess the question is just like, what would I knit with it? Do you have suggestions? I've got this whole honkin' cone over here. And yeah, I like the color of this one. It's a very I don't know, like egg yolky yellow. And apparently I got this whole cone for about $7. Although actually I do believe that this was half off. So if I'm not mistaken, this was more like $3.50. So yeah, that is all that was in the second bin. Let me pop these behind me, and then I think that means that the last bin actually has the majority of the stash. All right, let's get a few more newer ones out of the way. So if you've been watching the channel, then you may have seen these finds. The first one here is my super fun fuchsia mohair yarn. It's a boucle, and I'm so obsessed with this one. I am hoping to get around to making this into the Boulevard bag by Lily Kate Makes. And I have 2 big balls of this, and oh gosh, I can't exactly remember. I want to say that it was all $3 altogether. And I want to say that I have something like almost 300 grams of it, if I'm not mistaken. So this was an awesome find because I think, yeah, this whole bin is really where I was getting into more, not like luxury fibers, but natural fibers and understanding a little bit more the content and the makeup of different yarns. So this was an awesome find. I also have a good old reliable Patton's Classic wool worsted, and this is just 100% wool. I'm sure that if you've been in the fiber community, you have heard of this brand. Great reliable stuff. You can typically find it at your Joann's, Michael's, and this just looks like an older packaging for the same old yarn that you know and love. And I guess I bought this for $3. And the most recent thrifting find, the very controversial Knit Collage and Pearl Soho Comet. And I had purchased 3 of these skeins for $2 a piece. And they are a makeup of 93% wool, 3% mohair, 3% silk, and 1% Angelina Sparkle. So if you watched my latest podcast, you will see that I actually have just finished knitting something out of this yarn. So go check that out. Another one that you will have seen if you've been around on the channel for a little bit is this. It was actually on a cone probably the last time that you saw it, but it's sort of this mystery fiber that is it has this funny sort of like denim-y blue base, but then very desaturated like rainbow tweedy type bits in it. I was not really able to figure out what this fiber is. And there's a part of me that's thinking that it might be a yarn, a natural fiber, but that has a ton of spinning oil on it. So I do want to try the dish oil or the dish soap thing. But my best guess is that this was all on a cone for about $3, maybe 5. But yeah, really fun colors in a desaturated way. So I like that. I also have here the Barocco Ultra Alpaca Chunky Tonal in this, gosh, I can't remember the color name of it, but I know that it looks like my sweet baby OC, and that's what I always think of when I see it. I bought this for $3, and it is 50% superfine alpaca and 50% Peruvian wool, another one that I am hoping to turn into a boulevard bag by Lily Kate Makes. So most of the yarns that you've seen so far, I actually had purchased at different Goodwills. I do a lot of traveling for work. So anytime I'm in a different area, I will find the closest Goodwill and just go check it out. But I think the majority of what I have left here was found at a Habitat for Humanity restore. And if you've never heard of those, you can do your own research, but basically it's another thrift store, primarily with like furniture and larger appliances and things. And then the money that they earn goes towards Habitat for Humanity. It's a whole thing. And I had done some volunteering for them, and I actually earned a like a store credit gift card. And it just so happened that, like, they had this huge yarn shipment, like, so random. Someone gave up their yarn stash. I was there. I had a gift card. I know some of this I paid for, and other of this was part of that gift card that I used. So great finds, but that's where most of the rest of this has come from. And this is like my creme de la creme stash. That's why it's all in its own bin. So first up here, we have the Knit Picks Bare Natural. This is their DK weight, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is a fifth. It's just caked up here. So I actually have 5 of these, which is really, really exciting because I could knit a sweater out of this just plain, or I could maybe play around with dyeing it. I haven't totally decided. Some of it might work its way into a future project that's already on my mind. But other than that, this is just a really fantastic 100% wool. The stitch definition on this is awesome. And I just know that from swatching it up, actually, because I wanted to make the sweater that I'm wearing right now out of it originally, but it was a little too thick. It's a thick DK. Knit Picks is lying to us. But it's 100% merino wool. Such a good find. I have absolutely no idea how much I paid for it, but I know it was like pennies. Okay, this was actually a Goodwill find. I know that. I found this on my birthday this year at Goodwill, and this is a mohair boucle. It's actually also used in this sweater in my stripes here, and this ginormous cone that I don't know how I will ever knit through was $5. Since we are talking boucle and the Lika pullover that is utilizing this yarn as well in these boucle stripes, this was actually the first bit of yarn that I had purchased with that gift card. So I have this boucle yarn, and it's really just like a loopy yarn. I guess I don't know what's the difference between loopy and boucle, but this I know was all purchased using one gift card, and this is what I'm hoping to knit my shacket out of. Coming up soon. You like this balancing game I'm playing? How long will this last? I believe that this is all of it. However, there might be some hiding in there, but there's just like a whole bunch of it. And it's so soft. I don't know what this content is. It never said on anything. And I'm pretty sure that this was all mine for basically free because it was a gift card after volunteering. So girl math. I'm going to move this one behind me just because it's already in its tower. Okay, apparently I have like an abundance of just plain white yarn. So here's just another large quantity of a white mystery yarn. Oh gosh, what a mess. We've got this guy. I'm trying to stack them up in order of their size. Here. You and you. Total mystery fiber. If I had to guess, it feels kind of woolly to me. Angelina Sparkle is all over literally everything that I own. It's super, super soft. There's a slight little bit of a halo to it. Doesn't smell like anything, so I couldn't tell you there, but pretty sure that it's a wool. It has it's like a slight just sort of roughness that a wool would have, but overall it's actually super, super soft. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of it. No idea where it came from. No idea how much it was, but it's here. Okay, here's another fun one. I want to say that I did purchase this on a cone, and I certainly am feeling like caking is not the greatest way to store these because they're starting to get like a little bit tangled. But these I know I bought at Goodwill, and it says DK Cashmerino color Verde Musco. I don't know what that means. If that means something to you, then let me know. But they were on a cone. And I have here each of these 130 grams and 157 grams. So I have just under 300 grams of this fiber. I love the color of this one. And I definitely think that this would be a really nice accessory, maybe a hat and gloves or something, just depending on how much, how far that yarn can get me. But I do really love this find, and it's a good amount of yarn. I want to say it was probably about $5, but I honestly don't totally remember. We're going back a little bit now. These I know I got at Habitat for Humanity, and I believe that I purchased these with the gift card as well. And this is just this like, oh gosh, dropping it. This crazy like royal blue. I believe this is 100% wool. It definitely feels nice and woolly. And it just says Mitchell, and CIA, something like that. Yeah, not much to say, but it's on a little cone. There's a good bit here, it seems. And at the same time, I purchased a similar cone with this red yarn on it. So this is what I have off of the red cone. I love this shade of red. This is such a rich and vibrant, almost poppy red. So I should definitely see how much I have here and see what I can squeeze out of it because this color is just screaming my name. All right, these are fun because I know that they had a label and I'm not sure where it is now, but I also know that the label just had the like brand name, but it didn't say anything else. My best guess is that it's wool. They look like hot dogs. I don't know how to hold these without this looking like really disturbing. The way that these are the way that these are wound up, they're funny, but there's a ton of yarn here and it's in this it's like a blushy pink color. It's actually a really pretty color. I know that I had some ideas for this when I picked it up, but now I couldn't tell you, and I just like the color of it. Let's move on from that one. And we're coming into the last few little goodies here. I have a couple of these Lamb's Pride skeins, Lamb's Pride worsted, 85% wool, 15% mohair, and they were purchased at different times. Oh, these might be different even. Nope, they're the same. They're like they're a single ply, just basic yarn. I have this one in Old Sage, and then this is a black colorway. And I know that I actually had a lot more of this, and I did use some of it in a project earlier this year. And these were not purchased together either, but I have found quite a bit of Lamb's Pride in my travels. So that's nice. While we're here, a few little failed finds, but this is one of those things that when it comes in the like Ziploc bags that it does tend to, you can get a couple of these I don't know, like you can't tell what it is from the outside, but these are like acrylic mohair blends, and they're honestly like pretty disturbing. They'd make for good doll hair, I think. But they probably just came in a bag with something else, or I just couldn't tell exactly what it was from outside of the bag. So that's what these are. They're a little creepy, to be honest. I guess that's a good thing that I'm always talking about how I want to knit things in black and white because apparently I have a lot of it. But this is Lopi, selected mountain sheep's wool made in Iceland by Alifoss Limited, exclusively for Reynolds Yarns Inc. And this is 100% pure new wool. And I have this whole guy, which is 96 grams, so just under 100. And then I actually do believe that I weighed the rest of these, and that altogether this is about 200 grams of this Lopi yarn. I'm like looking around mysteriously because there is some yarn that I can think very distinctly. Um, I know I thrifted and it's not here. So I will have one quick peek before I totally let you go after I show you this last bag. So this is actually, yeah, This is like how a lot of things will come in just a Ziploc bag. This seems to be someone's scraps. And I purchased this bag specifically for a couple things that were inside, but this was $3 for the bag. These look to me just like a couple of cotton balls of yarn, a little lavender and white. So nothing really special there. Oh, there's also one in a sage green. I wonder if someone was working on like the Little Mermaid or something. There is a little bit of this sort of like denim-y blue mohair boucle. This feels exactly like the fuchsia pink one that I have. And then just a couple really small scraps of miscellaneous fiber. But the reason I purchased this bag, I know, was for this Barocco Blackstone tweed, which is 65% wool, 25% super kid mohair, and 10% Angora rabbit hair. So fancy. And this person donated not one, not two, not three, but 3.5 of these. And they're this really lovely gray natural color. There's little flecks of more of a beige and white and even some like charcoal, almost black flecks in there. So a really, really lovely find here. And if I had to guess, no, maybe not. I don't know. There's a couple of other just little scraps in there, and I thought that maybe they could be another tweed, but the twist doesn't seem to be totally the same. So something miscellaneous. I'm not sure, but this feels like a good find. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go pop these behind me, and I will just go check real quick to see if I can figure out where those few that I know are missing are. That's unsettling. And then I'll come back with a little bit of an overview. Okay, I was right. There were a few missing things. One of them being I had a second fall of that Wool in the Gang Trope tan cotton and hemp yarn. And then I also had this find. I know that this is from the Habitat for Humanity Restore, and these are Nature Spun Sport Weight. They are from the Brown Sheep Company, and they're all 100% wool. And I have these in just these really fun colors. So I thought that at some point these could probably be used together in some sort of color work project, but I'm not sure what. So those are all of the yarns officially. Okay, so now is your final chance to guess the totals. Were you keeping track? The total value of my thrifted yarn stash is $1,400.55. Did you have that right? And my personal grand total spent is $157.49, meaning that I have saved $1,243.06 by thrifting yarn instead of purchasing new. And in other words, I have purchased my thrifted yarn collection for about 11.2% of its original price. Not bad, huh? I'll tell you what, I'm not sure if I am surprised by how much I had in my stash or if I'm kind of impressed that there's not more. So yeah, that's the thrifted yarn stash. There have been more yarns that I've already worked into projects. And like I said, you could probably see most of those in my What I Knit in 2023 video, which should be coming out soon. And yeah, I hope that this was interesting. You guys said that you would be interested to know what I have in my stash, and I'm here kind of just keeping a tally now of what's going on, and I'm going to try and do a little bit of a better job organizing these yarns. They are just going to go back into the tubs, but I'm going to see if I can at least arrange them in a little bit of a better way, and then they go on shelves that I have in my craft room. So, yeah, I hope that that was interesting. By now I should have taken some better kind of close-ups of the yarn behind me, but hopefully you can appreciate that we're just trying to keep this quick and literally just showing you what I've got going on over here. So I hope that you liked this video. If you did, definitely please feel free to give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you're subscribed and don't forget to ring the bell before you go. If you enjoy knitting content, then I definitely suggest you come hang out with me on Saturday mornings at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time when I do my weekly knitting podcast. And other than that, you guys, big ol' thanks for watching. I will catch you on the next one. And yeah, that's it. That's it. All right, you guys. Bye.